radio show. I married a music man. Radio show.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for tuning in again to another segment of the I Married a Music Man show. My name is Dr. Joyce McNichols, and I am here with my husband.
And my name is Dr. Marlin McNichols.
Yes, yes, yes. And the music that you just heard was from Dwayne Dopsie and the Zydeco Hellraisers. He is my guest today, and we will be talking to him about his exciting career in just a moment. But I did want to just let you know that the I Married a Music Man show is a industry-focused show. That is music industry-focused show. And we cater to all of you who may be out there and you are recording artists, you may be writers, songwriters, producers, just have record labels, any entity in the music industry. We want to bring information to you, especially the independent, because we understand how independents may have a lot of woes in this industry. There's a lot of tricks and a lot of turns in it to date. And so with the expertise of my husband, Dr. McNichols, we bring in every aspect of business that relates to the music industry. Am I right, Doc?
Yes, you're right on it, Dr. Joyce McNichols. Yes, our show is educational, entertaining, and yes, we do cater to the independent artist, independent record label, and we supplying them with another arm to get the music out across the globe. I Married a Music Man is a global show, and the new artists will be able to have his music played in markets across the world.
Listen, you're right about being global, and you're right about us reaching over, in other countries in terms of all of the different entities of the record industry in itself. But just talk about a couple of things that we will be highlighting on a lot of the segments in the show. Just hit a couple of the topics that we will be bringing to our viewers and our listeners.
Yeah, I'll be glad to do that. We'll be talking about record contracts. We'll be also discussing publishing deals, music licensing, how to get your songs into motion pictures, how the artists protect themselves, and so on and so forth.
And 360 deals, and what is that? All of that.
Well, yes, we'll be hitting on the 360 deal, and we'll hit on that pretty heavy,
right?
Because that is the model for the new record labels, and so we'll be really touching on that to give our listeners and our artists the insight and the best way to maneuver themselves through that real difficult contract.
Right, and branding and streaming and just all of that good stuff. So you know what, we got a lot of shows that we've already done previously that you're going to be really, really interested in listening to and hearing. So hopefully we'll bring some clarity to, again, the chaotic world of the business of music. But again, today I'd like to introduce our guest. That's Dwayne Dopsie and the Hellraisers. Now, Duane plays a unique high-energy style of Zydeco. Dwayne hails from one of the most influential Zydeco families in the world. Now, we're going to be talking to him, and he's going to be giving us a little bit about his background. He's going to talk to us about what he's been doing lately, and it's going to be a great and exciting show. And this music, I absolutely love it. I know maybe some of you may or may not be familiar with this style of music, but he is one of the hottest artists on the scene right now with this sound. And although he was inspired by tradition, because I believe it was his father, Marlon, was it?
Yes, and Dwayne probably going to share more information in that regards because Dwayne been around the industry all of his life.
Right, and from what his bio says here, his dad's name was Rockin' Dopsie Sr., and he was a pioneer of the Zydeco music, and so Dwayne kind of just fell into that. But we're going to talk to him and let him bring in more clarity about all of what's happening with him in his career and where he's going to be playing somewhere near you, because he is well known all over the country. And, you're going to want to know and you're going to want to hear. Okay, so Duane, listen, I'd like to say welcome to the I Married a Music Man show. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Listen, Duane, we want to let you go ahead and just kind of tell our listeners and our viewers a little bit about who you are. Where were you born exactly, Duane?
I was born in Lafayette, Louisiana.
All righty. Righty. And tell us about a little bit about Lafayette. Tell us about the vibe there, the musical vibe and stuff there.
Well, Lafayette has its own music scene. It's a whole different world. Like New Orleans has a whole different feel. Lafayette has a different feel. Lafayette has a lot of the roots of the Cajun music, the Zydeco music. And that's where I was born into, and that's what I grew up around was the Zydeco music in my house. 7 days a week.
Wow. And I read something in your bio about the washboard. Tell us about the washboard.
Well, the washboard is a vital instrument to this music.
Okay.
It wasn't just used back in the 20s and 30s to wash clothes. But it was. That was one thing about Creole people is that we took something from nothing and made it something.
Right, absolutely. And you know what? I've seen. I was born down south, raised in Los Angeles, but I remember there were spoons. We
Right.
as a people in a culture, we would make music out of all kinds of things, and awesome music. So that's
Yeah.
really. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. We didn't have to have the finest of things
Yes.
to make it look good or sound good.
Absolutely. Now, I want to ask this question before I hand it over to Doc. Your family was a musical family. Tell us a little bit about your father, because I believe he was like the pioneer to you even being introduced to this style of music.
Right. Well, my father, his real name was Alton Rubin, but his stage name was Rockin' Dopsie Senior, and he was my greatest and my number one inspiration into getting into the music, because the sun rose and set by my father's standards, like in my eyes. So everything that he did, I wanted to be like him. Be in the music like him, and and just to have not to be able to be a part of something and not really understand it, but I was a part of something and know where it was coming from. And Zydeco music to us is not just a tradition, but it's just like a way of life.
A way of life. So did you ever get a chance to play with your dad?
I did little small festivals, when he was around Lafayette, that I could go to, because I was rarely young, so I could never, I could never, go into clubs or nothing like that.
Right.
But I was always, he'd play around Lafayette and little festivals and stuff, and I would be able to. He'd take his accordion off and let me play a song or two.
That's cute. That's awesome. Man, I wish we
Yeah.
had video on that right now. That would be
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
That would be great. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, Dwayne, in your early stages of in your involvement with your dad and other musicians, what was your first instrument?
My first instrument was washboard,
Yep.
because the accordion was too big for me to hold.
And from the washboard, did you graduate from that to playing another instrument? How did you finally end up with accordion?
Well, I started playing washboard when I was 4. And it was a fairly easy instrument for me to pick up, because I already had like the rhythm. So I established like the rhythm, and both hands and how to, make one hand, more rhythmic and more hand kind of, just like the, this is gonna be like my fancy hand, and that's what kind of really kind of set the bar for me musical wise, from like for me to understand like in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was 7, I was always interested in the accordion. I just didn't really know how to play it.
Mm-hmm.
So, one day I picked it up and, started just messing with it and messing with it and trying to figure out, the ins and outs, and then, I finally was able to come out like with one song.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now tell me this, Dwayne. Since Zydeco or the accordion is so kind of a different instrument, who were
Hmm.
your artist influences? Did you have somebody that kind of influenced your style?
Well, I love the blues, and my
Mm-hmm.
father used to play blues, and
Mm-hmm.
I listened to him, how he played blues on accordion,
Mm-hmm.
and also Clifton Chinian.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to how he played the blues on accordion, and a lot of different piano players. I like Pine Top Boogie. I love Professor Longhair.
Mm.
Like anything with keys or like guitars, and then I like Buddy Guy and Muddy Waters. So
Mm.
BB King. Lightning
Mm-hmm.
Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a lot of the people that I used to listen to, and I take something from everybody, and I'd incorporate it to what I was trying to do, which my skills wasn't there to actually do that, but I knew what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. 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 And you know what? I understand that you've shared stage too with those like Harry Connick Jr.,
Yeah.
Randy
Yeah.
Jackson. Come on, tell me about that.
Well, there was a flood in this area in Lafayette last year in
Mm-hmm.
August,
Mm-hmm.
and it devastated thousands and thousands of people,
Mm-hmm.
and so I wanted to go ahead and be a part of like like a kind of like a bringing back the people,
Mm-hmm.
like a fundraiser. So there was people that came up with something called Louisiana Rising,
Okay.
and they asked me to be a part of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I jumped at the opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and so we was on this program, and I was introduced by Randy Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
and was also me and Harry Connick played "You Are My Sunshine,"
Mm-hmm.
which is like the state song for Louisiana.
Mm. Awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So for those listeners who don't, we're talking about accordion, we're talking about Zydeco. Can you give us a good, how do I want to say this? Give us a good understanding about exactly what is Zydeco music. What is it?
Zydeco music is the only music that's I think is left that
Mm.
doesn't require you to have sheet music.
Oh,
You don't
okay.
have to know, okay, well this is that. I mean it's the type of music that you feel. Yeah, is all about the heart. You
Wow.
Yeah, and that's what the Creole Zydeco music was
Uh
back
huh.
in the days.
Uh huh.
They would have dances, house dances, and the people would just sit on the porch. They would and just play accordion and washboard, and
Uh-huh.
you know and I tell it to a lot of the kids now. I mean I call them kids because they're younger than me, and they coming up, and they hearing, they playing what they're hearing, but they hearing like the wrong things. They
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
now the people around this area
Mm-hmm.
hasn't followed the blues patterns of
Absolutely.
Zydeco.
Mm-hmm.
They're more into trying to incorporate rap into the music, and
Yes.
that's not Zydeco
And
music at all.
that's not
No,
Zydeco.
no.
And so what I'm hearing you say then, I guess, because I come from a musical family and I have brothers that play jazz, and so you're saying that the style that Zydeco is, people just kind of do their just do whatever, just do their own vibe, and it just all comes together. Play what they feel. Is that what you're kind of saying? And it just
Right.
all comes together. That's
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
That's
Because I mean,
awesome.
like I mean, Zydeco consists of like the traditional Zydeco have waltzes, two
Mm.
steps,
Wow.
but it has a lot of boogie. It has a lot of swing, a lot of like back in the 40s and 50s, people used to dance Zydeco, but they used the jitterbug.
Uh huh.
And that's what Zydeco really is. Just you're just doing the jitterbugging.
Okay.
You know, yeah, yeah.
Man, what is that? The Harlem. What was that movie came out about Harlem something and everybody was jamming?
Harlem Shuffle?
No,
The
no,
Harlem
no.
Shuffle.
Well, that was a Harlem Shuffle. That's where all that was created. But there was a movie that came out that was awesome, and it went back to that period, and it was really, really a great movie. And they brought it kind of in the 2000s. I think one of a big boy and the other rapper. What was the other guy? Oh my God, I can't think of him anyway. But it was a movie. Was it Harlem Nights?
It was the Harlem Nights.
Yes, that's it. That was,
yeah.
and it was a musical, right?
Okay.
Slash, I absolutely loved that. One more question before I turn you over to Doc for his question.
Okay.
What I read also in your bio that they deemed you the Jimi Hendrix of Zydeco. Correct me if I said that wrong. But there was a term about how you brought this freshness to that sound. So with that being said, what audience have you seen that really just kind of draws to your style of Zydeco?
Actually, all of them. Because
Okay.
the style of Zydeco that we playing, it doesn't exclude anybody.
Okay. So young and
it's
old.
for,
Young and old.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's for young, old, middle, black, white,
Wow.
Chinese, whatever. I mean, it doesn't make you feel like, okay, well, I shouldn't be listening to this, or this is only for young people, or this is
Right.
for old. It's for everybody.
Right. Yeah, right. I'm telling you, and you know what? I get it. And I can imagine, I haven't been to it yet, but when they do Mardi Gras down in, oh my God, I have yet to experience that. And I'm pretty sure we hear a whole lot of that culture at that kind, because I've seen it, you know what I mean, on video, television, but it just seemed like the people there are just free and very expressive. You know what I'm saying? It's an awesome thing, because I was a rocker. I came up on Zeppelin and, all that stuff, and that was my vibe then. But I tell you, I like all kinds of music, from gospel to, if it's music, I like it. I don't discriminate on any, and I'm really honored to be introduced to this type of music, because I love the sound, and it's something, you know what, this is going to sound real weird to you, but because of the culture, even though it would be from Louisiana, it's like there's still something cultural about our culture that still just resonates when you hear that music. It resonates inside. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And so now you begin to see in yourself, oh, okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're locking right in there. Come on, Doc, he's quiet over there. Come on.
Well, Dwayne, in my early days at Atlantic Records, one of the artists that I was heavily involved with out of your area was Dr. John.
Uh-huh.
But it was a long, it was many years ago, and Dr. John kind of took what he was doing to a big stage and a big audience, and the type of music that Dr. John was doing back then was his more blues than anything else, versus what you do as Zydeco.
Well, it was bluesy, and it's more like a New Orleans funk. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. New Orleans funk.
Yeah.
I actually like that. Well, you know what? We're going to take a break, because we're going to play right now your cut. I believe it's called Voodoo. Tell me what it is, Dwayne.
Voodoo Child.
Voodoo Child. Introduce that for us and tell me what inspired that.
Well, one of the guys that I grew up also listening to, and that I loved what he did with the guitar, was Jimi Hendrix.
Absolutely, my fave.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I was like, in awe just watching, him play, and just the thing, and I wanted to do that with an accordion, just to do things that people had never did or seen or whatever. So that was another goal of mine, to go ahead and try to incorporate that into what I was doing. So I was able to try to actually do that.
Absolutely. Well, listeners, you're going to be listening to now from Dwayne Dopsie and the Hellraisers, a song entitled Voodoo Child, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Just let me guide the way.
You're listening to the I Married a Music Man show. Informative radio. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Wow, Dwayne, that was a hot track. I love it. I love it. Oh my
Thank
God. Yes. Listen, talk to me about your band, the Hellraisers. Talk to me about them. What pieces accompany you? And if you want to give them a shout out, go ahead.
Yeah, I have on drums. I have D. Fleming, and he's been with me since probably since like January, because the guy that I had before his mom was dying of cancer, so that wasn't, of course I want him to be there for his mom and stuff.
Yes.
So I went ahead and brought in like a young guy. He's just 19 too, but he's doing a great job.
Wow. Okay.
And then my bass player is from Lafayette, and he's been with me for about like 10 years now.
Okay.
And guitar, I have a guy from out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Brandon David. He's very good, a solid guitar player. Washboard, I have a guy from Mamou, Louisiana, a little country town. His name is Paul LaFleur.
Okay.
French.
And on sax, my sax player is Tim McFadden.
Wow.
And he's from out of Lafayette, Louisiana.
Love. Listen, you guys make magic together. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, Dwayne, your washboard player is a show within himself. We watching your past videos and how he interacts with not only playing.
Right.
Yeah, he has very strong stage presence. And
Oh yeah.
And so we that's one thing that in regards to your live performance, what we noticed, not only your music is top flight, but your performance is top flight, and so you got the combination of what makes great artists. They can perform their own music live, and they're just as good strong live as they're on the record.
Oh, definitely. I think I think that when you got a powerful band, with some good songs, you want to be able to at least like entertain the crowd like a little bit, kind of make them feel like they're like at home.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Now also, Dwayne, since Zydeco's foundation is New Orleans but all Zydeco music, but also has spread it into Texas and in other markets.
Right.
What are you feedback have you been getting? Let me re-ask that question. In regards to R&B, urban, and those genres of music that has spread it worldwide and has got really well accepted across the globe, and Zydeco music hasn't got that same credibility. What is your take on that?
Well, I think it's about ambition. I think it's about people taking like the next step. There's lots of bands in this area, but they become complacent, playing home. I'm making a living home, and not really seeing the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And having the purity of the music to because you can probably fake at home and people still go, but you can't fake music out on the road. That if the talent is not all the way there, then people will let you know.
Absolutely. And with that, I want to ask this question because, like I said, we in the beginning, our platform is to really fuel and educate the indies so they don't want to give up and be, like you said, be complacent or just drop off the scene, altogether. Right. So as I'm sure an indie and maybe starting in that whole arena, like you just said, you have to be motivated. What would you say to our listening and viewing audience in regards to hanging in there as an indie, and and just hanging in there, not giving up and not dropping the ball?
Well, I would definitely say hang in there as an indie because, I mean, everybody got their start like somewhere, I mean, some of the biggest rappers, some of the biggest hip hop artists, some of the biggest R&Bs, started on independent labels.
Absolutely.
Not everybody started like on American Idol.
Absolutely.
Or automatically got a push, and I think that's what really sets apart the good musicians to the great musicians.
Absolutely. It's the one who sticks in there, and and Doc always will say, when you're starting out, and I mean you're way beyond that now, but when you're starting out, there's no little gig. All gigs are important gigs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You may not have that big audience yet, but take that audience of 30. That audience of 30 may go to 100. Take that audience, and just do whatever you can to promote and market yourself at best, because if you got a good product, it'll catch on, and there's seasons for everything. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, and you're living proof of that, and that's just an audience, an awesome situation. Talk to us a little bit about your upcoming studio album.
My upcoming studio album, Top of the Mountain, I think it's going to be, if not one of the best Zydeco CDs that's been put out in a very long time, because it's got, something for the young, something for the middle, something for the people that just want to sit. I mean, it's got something like for everybody. It's a CD that has lots of real good musical riffs, a lot of new things, and it it broadens people's mind that you could do anything that you want if you put your mind to it.
Absolutely. Now, did you do a lot of the writing, most of the writing on this one?
I did.
You did. Awesome. How many songs you got on the project on this?
It's 10 of them.
Oh, cool. You've been busy.
Yeah.
You've been busy.
Oh, yeah.
And what is it that is your ultimate desire for your project? What would your ultimate desire? What would you like to see happen with this project?
My ultimate desire is to ultimately, be nominated for a Grammy and get recognized.
Yes.
And also, do a lot of different late night shows, a lot of daytime shows, because that's a big audience that has never had somebody like me to perform on there, and to have somebody that's like that, because I mean I've played festivals from Europe to Brazil to Canada to South America, and then to have everywhere that we've been, love it. And then to have an audience of, say, like 1 million people watching the show, be like, oh my God, man, did you see this? Or, and that's what creates like the buzz.
Absolutely. The power of television. I'm telling you. So Jimmy Fallon, all y'all, hey, listen, I'm telling you, that will work so awesome. And you know what? We're going to be really, really, really looking forward to that, because I really believe that that's in your future. I really do. Come on and talk to our listening audience before we go, and we're going to go out with your song, back into one of your songs. I'm wondering which one should we do, Doc? Roller Coaster. I know that was our intro. Now, I like that Jimmy funk, though.
Well,
they're both great.
Well, since you like that Jimmy funk,
we gonna go out with the Jimmy funk.
Let's go out with that.
Okay, but listen, Dwayne, this is what I want you to do. Let our listening audience and our viewing audience know how we can contact you through social media. Just let us know how they can reach out to you, listen to some of your music, and possibly become a potential fan, because I know it's so infectious. Once they hear it, it's a wrap. Tell us about that. How can they contact or see you or read about you?
Right. Yeah, I mean, they could check us out on our website, www.dwaynedopsie.com, for all the booking info, all the, questions, contact is all on there. Or if they want to check us out on our fan page, go to Dwayne Dopsie and the Zydeco Hellraisers. They'll find, all the schedules, different videos and music, and they can listen to us on iTunes. I have different CDs on iTunes, roller coasters on iTunes. They could check us out on Pandora, Spotify, everything.
Wow. You know what? Well, you know what? Again, listen, you guys, go check him out. Awesome music. Dwayne Dopsie and the Hellraisers. No, let me say that again. Okay, listening audience, go check him out on all those social media outlets that he just gave us information on. That's Dwayne Dopsie and the Zydeco Hellraisers. Thank you so much, Dwayne, for being our guest today. And Godspeed to you, and take care. And we're going to go out with
Voodoo Child.
Voodoo Child. There you go, Dwayne. Thanks for the cue. Take care. God bless. All righty. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Then I chop it down with the edge of my hand. I pick up all the pieces and I make an honor. I'm a real little sinner. Yeah. I'm a voodoo child, Why? 'Cause I'm a voodoo child. One of these days. I might have mean to take it a lifetime or more. But I said to the next one, don't be late, baby. I'm a voodoo child, Why, 'cause I'm a voodoo child, baby.
We'd like to say thank you for joining us today. As a matter of fact, Doc, what do you have to say?
Peace out.